Success goes to the ones who outwork the competition. So you put in more reps. You think more training is going to give you a better body. More time, better relationships, more effort, you're going to get better results. And at least that's what you were told. So you work longer hours. We start to wake up earlier, we go to bed later. We really push through this feeling of exhaustion. And for a while, it feels like you're winning. You're moving fast. We're making rapid progress and momentum really starts to build. But then over time, we start to hit a ceiling. And what that looks like is we putting in more hours, but it's the same output. We're putting in more effort, but we're getting the same results. We're more stressed and we've got way less relief. And that's when things start to shift. There's this thought that starts to come through that you've been suppressing for so long. Is this worth it? And that's what I see as the beginning of the end. Now, at first, we miss a few of the little things. You might skip a workout, you might find yourself scrolling a little longer, you start to feel a little bit less in control. But the little things become the big things. You start tolerating things you never would. You stop demanding more from yourself. You lose your edge. And when you lose your edge, you stop feeling like you're winning. And when you stop feeling like you're winning, you stop playing to win. And this is the lie we've been sold. Because wanting more was never the problem. You were wired for it, to push, to build, to expand, but you were set up to lose before you even started. Because the real game here isn't about doing more, it's about becoming more. But nobody told you that. Instead, we're handed the default script, which is hustle harder, do more work, chase bigger goals, we'll sacrifice now and get rewarded later. And so we play by the rules. But the truth is, this is the stuff that starts to cost us everything. This is the thing that's diminishing our health, it's impacting our relationships, it's affecting our peace of mind. And it's not until you realize that you're not failing, you're just playing the wrong game. Because the answer was never more, it was better. Better is better. A better strategy beats more effort. A better decision beats more hours. A better mindset beats more discipline. A better you creates better outcomes. A better you creates better relationships. A better you creates a better life. Because success isn't about doing more, it's about becoming more. But better doesn't just happen on its own. It has to be built. You don't just wake up one day and suddenly operate at this higher level. Because better isn't a wish, it's a system. But this is a system you can actually have right now. Now, this system is broken into two parts. And this is what every high-performing man understands. There's the rock-solid foundation that needs to be put in place, and then there's the high-leverage system. And when you get these two right, everything in your world begins to change. So the first step is building out the foundation. I want you to think of your foundation like a three-legged stool, that if one of the legs is weak, everything collapses. This thing can't just balance on two or one of these pillars. We have to have all three. And so these are the three pillars that are going to hold everything else up in your life. Now, the first is standards. Now, this is the bar you set for yourself, because your life reflects what you accept. So if you set the bar low, you're going to live way below your potential. But if you raise it, everything else starts to follow. And so what you allow is what continues. And what you demand of yourself is what improves. And that's why standards are so important. The second is around discipline. This is the skill that's going to free you. Now, we've got to break a belief here that discipline isn't about restriction, discipline is about control. Right? Most are waiting for motivation, but the guys who are winning, they're not. They understand that discipline comes first. Motivation is the thing that follows. And when discipline becomes automatic, success becomes inevitable. And then the third is accountability. The mirror that keeps you honest. Because if you don't have accountability in your life, you're not going to see progress. And the truth is that your results are a direct reflection of your choices, and that no one can escape the reality that they're actually creating. And so the thing with accountability is that excuses can feel pretty good in the moment, but they end up costing you in the long run. Now, the big thing here is that most men are trying to change their habits without changing who they are. But a man who operates at his highest doesn't rely on these hacks or these tricks or, more motivation. Like, he has a clear understanding of his identity. So performing at a higher level isn't just a choice. It's just who he is. It's who you become. Now, if you want to go deeper on this, if you want to actually understand more about how to upgrade your identity, there's a bunch of resources below, and you can check out my identity upgrade program. Because without it, it doesn't matter how good your system is, it doesn't matter how good your strategy is. No amount of work or grinding or hustle or whatever it is that you're doing is going to save you. But when you get this foundational piece locked in, that's when you begin to level up. And so the second part to this is the system. And this is where I want to spend a bit more time. Like, this is the fastest way to shift from this notion of more to better. It's how you rewire the way you operate. And what I can tell you is that in my last 10 plus years, working with high-performing men, working on myself, I have found that there is one undeniable truth. And that is that most guys are overcomplicating success, right? They're looking for complexity. They're chasing the hardest, the most complicated path. Like, that's where I found myself. I assumed harder meant better. But over the years, what I've realized is that success is actually very simple. And so simple, in fact, that most are overlooking it, most miss it. And it starts with this. It starts with these 5 steps I'm about to share with you, and they can be done in less than 45 minutes of a day. And this is what I call the morning power routine. Now, before you dismiss it, hey man, I've heard it all before, I've watched all the other guys and all their routines, I totally get it, right? You've heard of the morning power routine before, you've heard of routines, I totally understand that. But here's what most people miss, is that not all morning routines are actually created equal, because most guys are doing 1 or 2 things. Like, they might be meditating a little bit. They might be doing the odd cold shower. Maybe they're doing a little bit of exercise, maybe the odd bit of journaling. Now, on their own, like, these things aren't that potent. But if you stack them together in the right sequence, brother, it's like pouring rocket fuel on fire. And I'm not just talking about theory here. Like, I'm not talking about guesswork. Like, this is battle tested, not just on me, but on over 1,000 men over the past decade, to actually unpack and understand what are the actual best daily disciplines that we need to put in place to create this morning power routine that's going to serve us best. And that's what I want to show you. Like, this is the piece that actually works. Now, there are 5 steps to this. The first is exercise. Like, you've got to wake up your body in order to wake up your mind. The second is meditation. And the reason for that is you need a clear mind to make better decisions. Your life is based on the decisions you make. Your reality you have right now is all based on all the decisions and the actions you've taken since birth to now. So having a clear mind is critical in order to make better decisions. The next is gratitude. And this is shifting focus from this notion of scarcity to opportunity, because if you don't have an attitude of gratitude, you're going to miss most of the opportunities that are sitting right in front of you. And this took me a really long time to understand. I was stuck in scarcity. There was never enough. And so I missed opportunity after opportunity because my eyes were closed to it. And so you need to have this notion of gratitude in your day, every single day. This is how you start. The next is the daily gesture of love. This is a small little act of gratitude and kindness, of love, that you give to your chosen one, your wife, someone very close to you. And the reason for this is that when you strengthen your relationships, you reduce stress. Because if you have your home life dialed in, you're going to perform better, in business, you're going to perform better in your health and your sports and all the different things that you're involved with. But if you have a broken home, if it is not operating optimally, neither are you. And so you need this daily gesture of love in there to really strengthen these relationships. And then the last is the cold shower. Now, there are a lot of health benefits with the cold shower, but what I'm focusing in on here is the notion of resilience. Because if you have better resilience, you have better focus. And we want and we desire better focus because, like I've shared in previous posts and previous podcasts, it's not about who outworks the other, it's who outsmarts the other. It's not about working harder, it's about working smarter. And so the cold shower, which helps you build resilience, enables you to increase your focus to work on the things that matter. And so if you want the complete system, if you want to know how this goes together and how it all works out, then I highly recommend you go and check out my Prime 45 program. There's links in the show notes below. You can check it out there. Because here's the thing, man. You don't need another productivity hack. You need a repeatable system that guarantees you show up at your best every single day. When you control the first hour, you control the day. And when you control the day, you control your life. I want to dial this in for you with an analogy here, this story of the two lumberjacks. The first lumberjack wakes up, he starts his day just swinging his axe. Like there's no breaks, there's no rest, it's just relentless effort from sunrise to sunset, like doing everything he possibly can, just swinging that axe to get the results that he's trying to get. But the second guy, he starts his day different. Before he cuts a single tree, he takes time to sharpen his axe. And he does this every single morning without fail, so that every time he swings, it's intentional. Every time he swings, it makes a good cut. And so by midday, the first lumberjack is exhausted. He's sweating, he's struggling, like he's just swinging harder just to keep up. But the second lumberjack, like he's already done. And it required less effort, less time, and he got better results. And why? Because effort alone, brother, isn't enough. You can grind all day, but if your blade is dull, you're wasting energy. And this is exactly what happens when you chase more work, more hours, more grinding, without sharpening your edge first. Your mind, your body, and your focus are your axe. And if you're not optimizing them daily, you're just swinging harder for diminishing returns. And this is why a morning power routine isn't just another habit. It's the difference between high performance and burning out. Because the winners, man, they don't wait until they're exhausted to start thinking clearly. They prime their mind, their body, and their focus before the day even begins. Because they know better is better. When you sharpen your edge first, you don't have to outwork everyone. You outthink them, you outperform them, you outlast them. While they're grinding just to keep up, you've already won. Sharpen your axe, run the system, win the day. And it all starts here. Because most men think success is about working harder, doing more, pushing through. But real success, the kind that lasts, is about becoming more. It's about raising your standards so you don't settle. It's about building discipline so action becomes automatic. It's about holding yourself accountable so growth becomes inevitable. And at the heart of it, it's about mastering yourself first. Because when you do this, business becomes easier, relationships become deeper, your energy, your focus, and your performance start to skyrocket. Because it's not just about grinding endlessly, it's about aligning who you are with the results you want. And when you do that, better isn't something you chase, it's something you are. So I trust that serves, brother. Better is better. And so if you want to take this conversation further, you want to understand more, there's a video here to check out right now. Until next week, stay strong.